Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about the 1993 sequel movie to the Addams Family, Addams Family Values. And as always, I have here with me Ramon
Hey guys.
and Raul.
Howdy, howdy.
Guys, as Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and we're going to be spending time with our families. And what more of a perfect movie than to talk about than a movie about a family that truly loves each other, and that would be this movie. And I love this movie, man. I love this movie so much, and I was glad that I was able to convince you guys to watch it. So I'm kind of excited to see what you guys thought about it on your rewatch, because I'm sure it's been a while for you guys.
I mean, it's definitely been a while for sure.
Ramon or Raul, which one you guys want to go first?
I mean, I could go first. I think, if for you listeners, we're doing a nice little thing, but we get to pick what we want to watch. We take turns, and it was Carlos's turn, and he picked this movie and didn't question it because we have to. I mean, or otherwise we get beat. but after just sucking it up and paying, for me at least, it was paying like a few extra bucks to rent it. I've seen the movie. I used to like it a lot, and I think part of the rewatch was just remembering how fun the 90s movies were. I feel like movies in the 90s just hit different. And yes, of course, if you're watching it with the eyes today, you can be so critical about like a lot of things of it. But I think that's what was fun back then. It's just you just realize that there was like a lot of there was censorship, but not a lot of things just kind of got past like the radar. And I think this was a great movie too because you had like kid violence, you had some racism stuff, like a little bit of everything. But no, man, it was definitely fun. So regardless of why you wanted to watch it, ultimately, I definitely enjoyed rewatching it.
No, dude. Dude, and honestly, if I would have rewatched it and I found it not to be funny, I would have been like, abort. But as I was watching it, I was laughing so much, dude. More than like some of the comedies today's. And some of the jokes were so smart that honestly kind of reminded me of when I was watching Barbie, because the jokes were sort of smart and you got to catch them to really like laugh at them. But, Ro, what did you think about this? Better than Barbie?
I liked it so much more than Barbie. Like I thought Barbie, like I don't even remember watching it. By the way, I never watched it. That's why I say that. But anyway, yeah, because so I started watching it, and I think I mentioned like right before we started recording that I even asked you like, are we watching Addams Family Values? Because I didn't remember the Thanksgiving part being part of that movie because I thought it was part of the sequel, but apparently Addams Family Values is the sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just started watching it, and like off the bat, it just starts funny like right away, and I don't know what happened to the Addams Family because these were hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Like I love these. Like the jokes are just like so well timed. Like I think the whole family is like superbly casted, and it's just I don't know. They were just awesome and hilarious, and I'm probably gonna start using some of the jokes randomly.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and I don't want to start making this like depressing right off the back, but Raul, I think the reason why we never got a third one is because we were talking about it just now, but Raul
I thought there was
Julia,
a third one.
no, because Raul Julia
Not
passed
in this
away.
Oh yeah.
He passed away, so they couldn't. I don't think they decided not to continue it. And then I guess when I looked up like the gross office, this one did a lot less than the first one, and the director was saying that maybe the marketing wasn't there, that a lot of people saw the marketing and it kind of reminded them exactly of the first one, even though this one was completely different. So he kind of blames the marketing on it. So that was kind of like the reasons, but he's like, I guess people do like this one a little bit more. Like his whole thing is like people seem to enjoy this one more than the original, and I feel like I love this one more than the original. Like I didn't even talk to you guys about watching the original because I don't really care for the original. I like this one just so much. And Ramon, you kind of hit it right off the back. One of the reasons why I like this movie is because I had a huge crush on Christina Ricci when I was like little. Little, and yeah, watching her as Wednesday, man. Like I don't know. So even watching that movie today made me want to like start watching something with Christina Ricci grown up today.
Dude, what now? It was just crazy. I don't need to go there, but just Christina Ricci as Wednesday, and then you had Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice, and it's like all those now, like they have like the perfect person to play them both, like Jenna Ortega. Well, I guess Jenna Ortega's not playing Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice, she's playing the daughter of Winona Ryder. But anyways, long story short, like there's just something to be said about like we were talking about the actors, and not just because it's a movie from the 90s, but it's just like these actors just acted differently, right? And not saying there's anything wrong with kind of the method actors and other different people and what they're doing nowadays, but I think it's just we've had so many movies since the 90s, the technology and the special effects, everything's so better, that I think a lot of movies do focus on certain things now. And this was a movie that, I was already aware of the Addams Family before then as a kid because of the cartoon. And I think for me, at least from what I can remember from the cartoon, this was like that kind of goofy where it was like all jokingly, like I don't even remember I remember the show, but I don't remember like as good as I do these movies. And I think what it was the cast, it was like the jokes in it, and then some of the craziness that they would do, and like people like Uncle Fester, like Doc Brown in that role. It's still one of my favorite ones, and I remember like for some reason I always just kind of remember him as Uncle Fester more than like Doc Brown, because like the way that Christopher Lloyd just acts in that, it's great. So yeah, I mean,
he gives great head in this movie. Like his expressions are just hilarious.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, I think part of the thing that makes this movie so good is like there's a saying that you can make a bad movie with a good script, but you can't make a good movie with a bad script. But this movie, like the writing was spot on. It had great writing, and then the cast like did it very well. So it was obviously well directed too. So just the combination of the two and how well it was cast, I think that definitely made the big difference in making it so funny. And it's funny kind of like in an original way that we never really see anymore.
I mean, I don't remember what other movie has to initially do with having a baby join the family, and then the siblings right away wanted to kill it, like
kill the baby.
And it's funny because like I forgot that's how the movie starts. It's like the baby, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, this movie does have a baby. And I remembered so many things, all the flashbacks of all the different ways that Wednesday and her brother were just trying to like get rid of it. Oh man, it was great, and it was great rewatching all those things because it's supposed to be like a comical movie, so you're not supposed to take it seriously. But that's kind of the humor in it, is that a lot of the things they're doing are so messed up, and to a baby. But that baby can hold its own, man. That
that baby looks creepy as hell.
Pubert
Dude, I love that mustache.
Pubert was something else, man, and you could tell by the spitting fire and everything else that he was doing. It was a strange little kid,
dude. And you kind of forget like how weird this family is, like how much of how sadistic, how masochist they are, how like problematic with everything. Like she's going into labor, and then Gomez is asking her like how much pain she's in, and then she's saying like a lot, but you can obviously not tell. and then like the fact that she says like agonizing, and that like turns him on or whatever, like makes him excited about it because she's in a lot of pain. Yeah, and all the other thing with Morticia that I just find hilarious, and my sister, because I saw it with my sister too. She brought up the fact that like with Morticia, it always has that like 1950s spotlight like right around the eyes,
right in the eyes.
like in every single scene that she's in, it's always that like 1950s spotlight right there. That just, it's hilarious that it just shows up in every single scene.
No, dude, after I was done with this, I thought about going back and rewatching it just because I wanted to write some of the jokes that really made me laugh. But dude, I'm telling you, they're so smart. Like, I think there's the scene where the nanny comes in and she's sort of sucking up to like Gomez and being like, oh, what a lady killer you are. And he's like, I quit it.
I was acquitted.
It's like, that's the kind of stuff that's a child. Like, I would have laughed at that because I wouldn't even have known what that meant. So like, as an adult man, like that to me made me laugh.
Yeah. And then this is another place where, like, again, Wednesday Addams being one of the most iconic ones, like, dude, no one plays her better than freaking Christina Ricci. Like, I love this Wednesday, and like just rewatching it too, especially when now we have a like modern day like variation of that, and she's great too. But this Wednesday, and I don't know, it's because she's younger that she gives you those like that cold stares, and like when she does something crazy,
It's
there's
just
like
a
no
funny or serious Wednesday.
yeah. And well, especially when we get to like the later part of the movie, but by then it's just like, dude, you're just crazy, awesome, love you.
No, dude, definitely. Like, I mean, it's kind of crazy that we got it in Wednesday, and a lot of people were like, dude, if you got Christina Ricci in the Wednesday show, like, make her Wednesday. Obviously, now that we got, like, Jenna Ortega, like, I wouldn't change anything about that show because I really did enjoy it. But, like, even in a parody, I would love to see, like, Christina Ricci as Wednesday as a grown woman, because I think there is an opportunity for, like, something there. You know, there is something there because Christina Ricci... She's no, as Wednesday, this character, she's still acting, dude. If you ever saw the show Yellow Jackets, she's amazing in that. And she's done a lot of other more dramatic roles, and she's really good. She's a great actress, for sure.
Yeah. No, I won't disagree about that with Christina Ricci, because I've loved her for a long time.
There's the one with Samuel Jackson and Justin Timberlake that he has to like tie her up to like a chain because she'll just like get these urges to like sleep. Black something.
Black Snake Moan.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Well, even
I don't know if I don't know if I've ever seen the whole thing.
That's a great movie. Rewatch it. You would enjoy that movie. And then Sleepy Hollow is one of my like.
She's
with Johnny Depp, and they all kind of go into that like creepy movie family, and you know they're all like a. You know, there's plenty of other actors that go into that world of just, you love to have them in those types of movies because you don't even need to see what character they're playing. You just know that it's going to be good and it's going to be like, little horror.
You just added Sleepy Hollow to my list for another time, but yeah.
The story of Sleepy Hollow alone is pretty, I mean, we're not going to wait a whole nother year.
But yeah. No, but yeah, like this whole idea of like, you know, they bring in a nanny, and the nanny, not to keep getting off the show, but that nanny, Ramon, you would recognize her from Shameless.
Joan,
It's kind of like cool seeing her at this age, and because she's very perky, very fun. Like, I don't know, I just thought she's attractive. She's attractive and fun.
Well, no, it's funny because with Joan Cusack, like whenever you guys all should know John Cusack, and it's just like, to me, that
are they related?
Brothers, yeah, brother sister, man. You know,
really? I didn't know that.
I just thought that they just happened to have the same last name.
I thought maybe they were married. That's what didn't cross my mind. But yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, brother and sister, but it's just
they're
like
it's different though.
That's what I was about to say. They're just so different. And then Carlos mentioned Shameless. Like I remember just watching her recently in Shameless, like on my last like series, or the last season watch, and it's just like, dude, it's just one of those people that when she plays this role, like she's already playing a role that you already love because it's kind of crazy. But it's just because how good she is. Like I doubt that she's like that in real life where you're like concerned about how she takes care of her own family. But and here she was like the perfect person. I actually forgot that she's the one that played the nanny until she popped up. And I'm like, holy crap, like that's right, like she is the nanny. And it was even better because after watching Shameless, it's a kind of not similar, but it is kind of like a similar role. But I like that whole idea that here is like this Black Widow, like serial killer, or I guess this murderer who's basically, just trying to get in there for Uncle Fester's money. And, but little does she know they're fucking crazy.
Well, dude, like I know in the first movie that's like a big part of the plot, like how rich they are, and this family is truly rich, man. Like they have all the artifacts,
that old money.
I guess that's the joke, right? They have that old money. Dude. But it's like, they could probably like finance the next president if they ever really wanted to, even though that's something that they were like scared of, like their son becoming president.
Oh yeah. Or worse, president.
Nowadays, man,
yeah. But I mean, I think that's a good, like, that's, I don't know. I like the plot of this movie for that reason because, like, well, first of all, you get the whole thing with the baby, right? And that just gives you like a inner family like plot that you're following around where you have like these siblings like who just don't want this other little sibling to be there, and at first it starts with jokes about like, well, now one of us has to die, and even when they explain that that's not true, they're like, well,
not anymore.
Who cares? And then you had the whole thing about like there's beyond that, it's like this nanny who's coming in, and clearly we already know that puber is a kid to be not to be messed with already. We know he's a little crazy. And I don't know. I think that whole, like, the two stories interlapping is great. And then obviously later we had the whole camp thing that I love the whole camp storyline too, situation. But
yeah, I think that's something that does make this movie kind of like be iconic for me because of that camp scene. This idea that like you get away from the house and you put them in a really strange situation. You know, it's almost like putting them in like a normal high school, which, you know, that's kind of, no, not even Wednesday did that, but I think the animated movies kind of have gone that route because there are a couple animated movies where they put them like in real scenarios with real people, like everyday people. So I think that made that movie really fun. This idea of like putting them with these rich camp people that you have to pay $20,000 just to be able to in the 90s
to go to the camp. Yeah,
to go camp.
1993.
And then how like culty the camp was. Like I get it like with the whole like rich people, but it's every kid, every parent, they were blonde. Like everybody was blonde except for the outcast.
Jamal, especially for Jamal.
Okay, well, how do you pronounce it?
Nah,
it's okay, whatever.
I couldn't believe that was part. I couldn't even remember that being a scene in this movie.
Dude, me
believe that guy is the guy who he is. He's another actor that I like from Meteor Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, no, like that whole camp thing was just crazy for that reason. The extremes of seeing like these like rich kids and stuff like that, and then you know here you have Wednesday and then Pugsley just like
the non-Aryans.
Yeah, like
it's not even that. They're like full goth, like ready to stab anybody. Like it's nice. Pugsley with his little cigar.
But like the Indians were like all the non-Aryans pretty much. So like the Jews, the one like Hispanic, the Wednesday Pugsley,
Consuelo.
Consuela.
I mean, if we're talking about it, then I definitely forgot how messed up that part was because it was great, right? Like, you know, just the whole idea that here there are these kids that don't want to be at this camp, and right at this point they're more worried about their Uncle Fester because at this point they're kind of already heard about that they found out that this girl is a murderer, like the nanny, and they want to get back to Uncle Fester, and then here they are like trying to plan a way out. And then in the midst of kind of not them being able to and having to participate in this like Thanksgiving pageant, I forgot those scenes. And then I remember like once it starts, I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember the fire. I remember everything. And it's just like the way they did that. Can you believe that being done in real life? Like nowadays, like no way.
No.
Well, first of all, none of that stuff would have happened because it'd just be super inclusive. But in general, like, holy crap.
Dude, and I like when Wednesday was acting like a normal person. I'm like, I could truly see how good of an actress she was. Because I'm like, oh, dude, like, I just love this transformation. I totally believe that this is how you really are. Like, the way she was talking, all happy and smiley. And I was going to ask you guys, like, you know, if you guys were put in that cabin and some sort of movies had to be played for you to crack, you know, what movies do you think would crack you? Like, for example, for me, Brady Bunch, when I heard that they were listening or watching the Brady Bunch, that would crack me though, because I hated watching the Brady Bunch as a kid. I hated on Sundays when there wasn't any movies for me to watch, but then the Brady Bunch was on, and I hated watching the Brady Bunch, and I would refuse. Like I just couldn't in my soul, like watch the Brady Bunch.
For me, it was the nanny. Like, I could not stand the nanny.
I couldn't stand anything about that, dude. I couldn't tell you the name of one character.
This is tough because I've watched both shows as growing up. I don't know why. I used to love the nanny. I think her voice and everything about her is, yes, it's annoying, but at the same time, like, kind of attractive. And I like the nanny.
Are we talking about the Brady Bunch nanny?
No. The nanny, like the nanny, like Fran Fresher. The nanny.
It's a show?
Yeah, it's a show. Yeah.
Yes.
You never seen the nanny?
You're always talking about the Brady Bunch nanny.
Oh my god!
And then you're like, the show the nanny, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, the old lady.
And I did like the Brady Bunch too, but I think for me that was definitely a little bit out of like. I mean, I was watching this as a kid from Mexico. It was a little hard show to like follow. I don't know, man. What movies would play for me like that would crack me?
I'm like, I was ready to watch The Sound of Music when that was playing.
Well, I like the
I'm
sound
like,
of music though.
that's what I'm saying. I was ready to start playing it. I'm like, oh, like
Dude.
let me go to Disney Plus and start watching
They're alive.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta think about it. Well, watch me
Yeah.
and like this. I don't know. I love TV. I mean,
No,
like,
no,
but it's difficult. What do I hate?
Yeah.
no, but dude, like seriously, like every scene in the camp is so funny. Like even when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna teach you guys how to like swim and rescue," and then like, "Oh, I don't know how to swim," and it's like, yeah, you would think you would ask that question before, like having
Yeah.
them do the scenario, or when Wednesday has to like continue the scary story, and it's like, and then the next day their noses came back or whatever. It's like,
Well, dude, that first scream though, like when the
oh,
other
that's so
girl was
fake.
telling the story, they're like, ah. And then when Wednesday starts saying, and their noses grew back, and then it was like a for real scream.
Well, even when
uh,
who was it, Pugsley that shot the bald eagle? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why that always makes me laugh. Like, it's just like random bald eagle, but it's just like the camp counselors were great too. I forgot how funny they are,
yeah.
and these are like two actors that we also are very familiar with through like
Hey,
tons of things. Yes,
so apparently I brought this up to my sister, and she had no idea
yes.
what I was talking about. Have you guys seen I think it's called Dracula Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen,
No.
Maybe forever ago. Sounds familiar.
the guy from Spy Hard, the guy from Airplane, with
Oh yeah,
another.
with yeah,
Yeah, and he's
Oh
Dracula.
yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Leslie something. Yeah,
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah,
Nielsen. Yeah.
So that guy, like, anytime I see him, I just picture him as Dracula's assistant,
Oh
like
yeah.
eating bugs or whatever. I forgot his name.
He's also, isn't he also in Ghostbusters? He's the painter assistant to Vigor, the guy in the painting in the
Oh, in
old
the second
Ghostbuster.
one, in the
Yeah, in the
second
second
Ghostbuster.
one. It's
I remember
the guy with
that. I
the
see
the guy with the painting, and he's like his like also his like familiar or something like that too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I always remember him and stuff like that too. Like he's just kind of like, I don't know, like I don't know if his name was ever Igor for any character he played, but he's always Igor in my head. So at one
Yeah.
point he maybe was, and then I don't know. But yeah, it's just they're over like acting, not overacting, but just like they're over peppiness as camp counselors, and then they're like what, married or siblings or something because they have the same last name. So it's
I
just
don't
like
know what
weird dynamic. It was just a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole camp. I think the whole camp scene is probably definitely one of my favorites, especially again when everything's set on fire and here they are, and then they're doing their stereotypical like Indian, like well Native American now, but like Indian just kind of running around like shooting arrows and stuff like that, and then put girl on the stake and they actually freaking light her, or they're
Light her
lighting
on
everything
fire.
up. Like what the heck?
Oh man. I was gonna ask you, like, taking a little bit back to like Uncle Fester, but is that guy like, can you not hurt him, or is he just like built differently than us? Like the Addams family people are just built differently, right? Like that's what we're kind
Yes,
of like led to
yeah,
believe. Okay.
yeah.
Well, they kind of grew up like in danger all the time, so they learn to be resilient
To like
and
poison and all
durable.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I have to say that they do like stuff like that. They like getting hurt. They like dangerous things. Like
Yeah.
Wednesday
Like,
was like holding her a flask of poison like half the time. She's like, it's that time, poison. Like it's just like okay.
like
Or
Killua.
or that one time that Gomez cracked the raw egg and mixed it with vodka, and then either bitters or Worcester sauce or
Is that not
whatever. I
something
don't know what
that
it
What's
was.
just us?
I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that people do, right? Like that, like
And then put it in
Yeah.
the bottle. Yeah, and then put it in the bottle and give it to a baby.
He's
Oh
hair the
no,
pup.
not the.
And then instead of saying hair the dog, he says hair the pup. Like and it was just like insinuating that the kid had like such a blast the night before at the freaking
Yeah,
party.
they're
That's just like
hungover. Yeah,
ah man. But see, like
uh,
they don't do that anymore, man. It's some kid
they don't let
humor.
kids
You're
drink like they used
I
to.
know.
dude. I don't know, man. I swear, like sometimes with movies, like it's better when there's no CGI, like backgrounds and stuff. Because yeah, like dude, even those movies in the '90s, other than maybe some of the quality of what you're watching, I bet you if this was in 4K, maybe I might not be able to tell. But like, I think it was very well shot. I think it was very creative. When I see the shots that the director took, I'm like, there's no way I could ever do something like this. there's that whole scene where the house explodes and Fester's like running away in the car, and he had that that whatever he cooked, he threw it out the window. The meatloaf, threw it out the window, and so there's that shot that like stays on the meatloaf. And it's like, dude, even though somebody could say like you don't need that, I thought it was so funny. And then the idea that like later on it even like the one girl, she drove through it. I thought, I'm like, dude, this is just like I don't know. I thought that was brilliant. I don't know. Like I could have, if I was a director, I would be like, this is brilliant. Like I don't know how you came up with this idea, but
well, I mean, if you want to think about it more, I think that was like intentional too, because at that point, that's like Uncle Fester's like what is it called, like physical like show of love to her, because it's their like 3-week anniversary, and he's like been slaving hard to make this meatloaf, and then of course she's playing and killing him and all this stuff, and then by that point, by the point that he's actually running away, like he already knows that clearly she wanted to kill him. So I think them going through the meatloaf is kind of like, oh yeah, that wasn't real, and it's kind of bursting his bubble, like bursting his meatloaf, like it's the end of the. But yeah, I mean that's like great, like that they are taking the time, or they did take the time to do that. It is significant.
Dude, do you think she ever like truly slept with him, or was she doing like
she did
favors for him?
No, she did. That first scene, because she's like, wait, so you truly are a virgin? Yeah, and then when he's like, do you remember? You don't remember his face? Like she's like gets on top of him, and then all of a sudden he's like,
yeah, no, I remember it.
Wait, how Roman?
Yeah. And then how else would you be so whipped, man? That guy was whipped. That was clearly it, right? Like, how do you stop him from seeing his family? He was like pussy whipped,
cat whipped.
No, okay. I mean, I go back, cat whipped.
and the idea that like the baby feels that there's something wrong with the family, and
so it turns blonde and curly,
turns blonde and beautiful, and the room changes. That's so freaking.
Well, who changed the room? Because that was the funny part too. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, wait, there's even like different murals on the wall now.
Dude, and when Gomez goes to the cops and complains, like that whole thing is like hilarious. It's like, no.
Dude, Nathan Lane as a cop? I was not expecting that. I was like, dude, that's Nathan Lane.
But yeah, that made me laugh. This whole like she did what? She's pleasuring him, like she's
like his wife.
You don't say it. I don't know. That was. I think that was the part. Like once he is like whipped like crazy, and then especially the scene when they show up at the house. And he's like corner, like on the corner, like on the wall, and then he's like, no. She's like, what did you do to him? And she's like, nothing. And then like looks at him, and he's like, go away. Like yeah, she definitely had sex with him 100 million times. Yes, she did.
Doesn't Morticia throw a backhand like insult at her about like the color of the walls or something?
Oh yeah,
all pastels.
Yeah, I can forgive that. But pastels.
That's hilarious. That whole, because I could see that hurting her after they left, like that whole like sticking with her, like that B.
Paul Jean.
Yeah. Can I be honest though? I don't love Morticia. I don't think she's my favorite of the Addams in these two movies. Like I don't know what it's about the actress. Like I like the actress, like in Witches. What's the movie Witches? Like I was terrified of her. Super terrified of her, and whatever else I've seen her in. Like I always loved her, but I think for Morticia, like I don't know. Like I feel there's just scenes where like she was just like too stoic and not even like anything. And I know she's always like that, but it's just I don't know. There was always something missing. But I think that's like the opposites of her and like freaking Gomez always being like Karamia and then like super in love.
Well, there's that whole like when they go dancing on date night. That scene I enjoyed too. And they're flirting, or they think they're flirting with other people, and I don't know, man. It's just so. Again, I love this idea of like these people are so weird, and you put them in an environment with like normal people, and like just seeing how others react to them, or how like that one lady's married a cousin It.
Oh yeah.
Hey, how cousin It talks,
and cousin It, and then they have the baby. Little
the baby. Yeah. What was it, the baby? Yeah,
no, dude. Okay, so I have a question because since you brought up the dance thing, so where are they from?
That's
like Spain.
That's Spain, maybe?
Yeah. At least
European side descent.
Yeah. Because so they're dancing tango, but they're also kind of dancing flamenco, and like not both or kind of both, and like Tango's Argentinian and Flamenco Spanish.
Yeah,
And it
but
just
I
threw me
mean,
off a little bit.
I felt like for me,
Which is what makes me hate that I know some things that I know.
yeah.
Because
No, well,
it takes me out.
Gomez is Spanish, but I think in the role that they played like back in those movies, I think it was always like general like Hispanic
of some
right?
kind.
Yeah, Hispanic of some kind. So then
Yeah.
you throw a little bit of everything into it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I bet you people didn't know that flamenco and all that was different. You know,
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
like, oh, cool. Like yeah, it's all like from Spain or it's all from you know somewhere else, but
non-generalized
Yeah.
Spanish speaking country.
Because like,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, this tells you how like I don't really look at that stuff. Like, because you know the actor that plays Raul, he's Puerto Rican, but never did I.
Are you
never
Puerto Rican?
Like yeah, the actor's
Yeah.
Puerto Rican. But like never really clicked to me in my life that I was watching an actor that was Puerto Rican. Like to me, like that
Yeah.
family was just something weird, and they were maybe played by Caucasian actors, and I didn't bother me. I didn't care. I was just enjoying them. So when the new Wednesday movie, TV show on Netflix was on, and they went with Jenna Ortega, and then they picked that one other guy to be you know the what's
Her
his
dad?
name? Yeah, her dad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess it makes sense based on their last name, Gomez, that they would be a little bit more of like.
What's Gomez? Gomez is the first name.
Yeah. Gomez is the first name, but I didn't. I didn't like this actor from the freaking the new Wednesday show. I like the actor, but I don't like him in a lot of. Well, I don't like him as Gomez. I don't like him in a lot of things when he's supposed to be like when he was the dad of freaking Vanessa Hudgens. I didn't even like him there. What movie was that?
The island one.
Treasure Island, and it's like. There's something about him, like he is funny and he does belong in some like movies, but I think
like Waiting.
Like I think the one in Treasure Island was the last time that I saw him with like a young actress that I was like, this just doesn't work well. There's something like I just don't see him that way, or at least I don't know. So when he got the freaking Gomez Addams role, I don't know, like something about like freaking Raul Julia. I think it's still like he is weird, but he's still like masculine and he's still like assertive. And I think the one Gomez in Wednesday now, he was still like kind of like more of a, he was just like clingy. He was very clingy. Like he was always after Morticia, but like hard.
Instead of like in love, he was clingy.
Yeah, he was exactly, and then just like to me, Raul Julia like just freaking plays that
killed
wonderfully,
it.
and
No, because that was the complaint that I heard on Wednesday. Like everybody didn't enjoy him, and I could say I also didn't care for him. You know how like goofy he looked, and it's just like I don't really buy that Catherine Zeta-Jones would fall in love with him.
Especially Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah, I don't know, but
he's too young for her. She likes the Michael Douglas 20 years. It's Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, Sean Connery.
Entrapment, baby. But I mean, we could start. We could talk about like other stuff, like other Thanksgiving. We could talk about our favorite Thanksgiving movies that we'd like to watch. But any final thoughts on the Addams Family, man? I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. It was only an hour and a half.
Super recommend it.
Yeah, I highly recommend this movie. I think it's just great for all ages.
Even if we spoiled some of the jokes already. For anyone that hasn't seen it,
I mean, there's plenty in there, plenty of things to watch. Like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely enjoyed the movie. I think just the final resolve of like the baby being the hero, sorta, was also kind of funny because that was a whole like very 90s movie thing to do, where there's like. What is it called? Like chain of effects. Chain of effects of just things happening, and then like I don't know. It was definitely a 90s movie, and I think we probably take them for granted now, and going back and watching things like that, like Home Alone and a bunch of other ones, like they're enjoyable for a reason. There's like that element of like, don't take it too seriously. It's supposed to be a comedy, but also like the elements that the Addams Family brings of the creepiness and like the morbidity and all this stuff that it has, like it makes it great. It's a great combination. Super enjoyable.
No, dude, it's crazy because like lately I'll text you like, oh, I watched this movie, and you'll be like, wait, what movie is that? And it's because I've gone back to watching a lot of the movies from the 80s.
You watch a lot.
Not because I was like a teenager or a kid in the 80s. I was kind of like I was born in 80, like in the like late 80s. So like I just went back because some of these movies, man, they're just made difference. Like I just watched. I think the last one I told you was like Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, and I really enjoyed it. I was rewatching
John Candy.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and it's just like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
totally.
good, man. And it's
Sure.
just like you get this feeling that you don't get from movies today, and it sounds like I'm an old man, but it's true, man. There is just something
You
that I
are.
can say it's
It
different
is.
old
about it.
man.
You are an old man.
You know, I was gonna say when you're talking about the baby and how he saves the day, even though for this movie, like I love everything about it, the one scene that I just couldn't believe, like I was like, this is not real. There's no way a baby could go away to an airplane and come back and land safely without getting hurt. That's the part of disbelief that I didn't buy in the whole movie.
Yeah, that was
Like, any of this
obviously
could-
meant to be absurd.
I know, but it's like out of everything that could like it's happening in this movie, that was like where it crossed the line
Yeah.
for me. Like, there's no way that
That's too
baby.
much.
I mean,
That's too much.
not when Pubert caught the guillotine, the blade with his
No.
like fingers. That was great. Oh, we didn't even mention Thing at all. Like Thing is also like great.
Well,
like,
yeah,
like that's
driving.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, and it's just like well, I mean, I'm just saying I just don't want to forget like mentioning him at all because like I mean for the not the technology but just like the way that it was still
How did
done,
they do
was
it?
still-
Yeah.
it looked great. Like there was a lot of scenes that I'm like, man, this is so good. And you know, believable. At no moment were you thinking there was just like some dude hitting in the corner, just only out of the doorway, like, hey, what's up, and then just
Yeah.
gone.
and
And out of a table.
in a full green morph suit,
Yeah.
being
with all
green
these like
screened out.
sensors everywhere and stuff like that, and it's like just for a hand. I'm like, no, you're good.
One day I would like an explanation of how that hand works, but maybe I don't need it. But it's like,
Well,
yeah,
it was an actor. It was an actor, but I don't know if they like.
No,
I
like
mean,
in
like,
the show,
oh.
like
in the show, like how he
Oh.
feels, how he understands, you know,
Didn't
like
they,
everything.
didn't they talk
How
about
you
that
can arm wrestle.
on Wednesday? How like
I can arm wrestle.
oh yeah, because there's just no like freaking leverage there. Didn't they mention that in Wednesday a little bit? I
don't
feel like
remember.
that lore was starting to get uncovered on Wednesday too. I don't
I
know.
don't
All I know is he's
remember.
like kind of a servant to them. But other than that, I feel like Wednesday had some answers. I need to go revisit Wednesday.
Well, I just think of the part where like she licks him and like he falls over. Like, like, dude, this hand can feel so
I
much.
know, dude.
She's like,
damn.
I know.
You
What did
just had
she
him,
say?
and you're already putting his finger in your mouth.
And she said, "I'm good with my hands."
I don't like that Wednesday ends up with that one kid from camp. I'm like maybe for
Well,
now
I
it's cute
do.
because she's
Yeah.
still young. She's still young, but I'm like I
Yeah.
feel like she's gonna grow old with him real quick.
Yeah, but it was funny that she scared the crazy out of him.
Yeah, he was
That's
weird.
insinuating
Too.
that she liked him. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
nerdy weird. I could appreciate that.
Yeah, he was different. I think that's what she liked. So
Yeah.
but I mean, let's talk about it, man. Like, what other movies would you suggest for our listeners for Thanksgiving? I mean, it's right around the corner. You know, it's one of those days where you got to spend time with your family and like massive time with them. And if you're not drinking, you have to put something on the TV. And if it's not football, like you need to entertain the family somehow.
Scarlet Letter. I don't know.
But you do immediately think something to that's a pilgrim, freaking that time period, colonialism,
times.
like Puritan times, yeah.
Dude, it's funny because I think 2-3 years ago, Martin Scorsese brought out The Irishman, I think around Thanksgiving.
Oh
and
yeah.
And we were watching it and we joked about like, oh, this should be the new family tradition to watch the 3.5-hour Irishman movie. But
Dude, I still haven't seen it.
no, dude, I can never watch that movie again.
I
It's good.
want to because I should.
Good, but it's just like it's just too much going on. Like I don't think my heart could take watching another sitting of it. And I
Yeah.
love his movies. Like Silence was another one that I recently watched. That's another Martin Scorsese movie, but it's just like I
Is
can't.
that the priest
like,
one?
The Priest one, and I'm like, that's another 3.5 movie that I don't think of his that I could ever really rewatch. Like
Dude,
one
what-
time it's
If
good
I
enough
haven't
for
seen
me.
that one.
Why
Yeah.
every time that I think about Thanksgiving movies, it's always Christmas movies that have like the
I
Thanksgiving
know.
parade. Like
Yeah.
what Thanksgiving movie do you have? Like besides, I mean, The
Home Alone.
Irishman, it doesn't
Like
count.
if,
But
if I had
that's
a-
a Christmas movie. Like
I know.
But like if I could have like Jingle Bell on my shelf to like
See?
put on the like that would be a fun one. Like I love Jingle Bell, even though I haven't
That-
seen it in a while.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a lot of the movies that I've always watched around, like, well, I guess not Thanksgiving, but like Christmas time, always refer back to like Thanksgiving, and maybe
Yeah,
that's
because
like,
they started
combination.
around Thanksgiving. Yeah.
But like now that I'm looking for it, besides this like new Thanksgiving horror movie that's coming out like right now, like
Yeah.
I don't know like like I'm looking it up right now, and there's just like no Thanksgiving themed movies. It's a lot of like Christmas movies with a lot of emphasis on Thanksgiving. But Huh.
I think a good Thanksgiving movie is something that you can throw in the background. You
Yeah.
don't have to pay attention, but if people like happen to take a look, like you wanted to catch their attention. I don't know, maybe like a Talladega Nights or a John Wick movie, but
I love
whether
Talladega
comedy or not.
Nights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like something that it's like, they might just randomly capture it at like a certain spot and be like, why is there a puma in the car? Or that man's trying to like get his driver's license. A cougar. But yeah.
Watch I think what's it called, Harold and Kumar, that movie a couple times during Thanksgiving,
which apparently there's still a fourth one day coming. That came out today. Like I'm like, what? Supposedly.
Well, I think the one that I'll be playing this year is Everything Everywhere All at Once, just because since that movie came out, it's probably one of my favorite movies to have in the background, because like no matter when you're like paying attention, there's always something crazy going on.
I don't know if it was for maybe your birthday last year or something, but I did go to your house and that was the movie with your family. You're playing in the background, and I think your parents were pretty into it.
My dad like just kept on ignoring, and then eventually he saw like I don't know what scene, and he just sat down and he's just like staring at it, and then the next thing you know, there's like two more people sitting down, and then just it's one of those.
Dude, my dad, like, he loves old school cowboy movies. Like, he could watch day and night of that. And, like, some of them, like, are good. And some of them, I'm like, oh, I could see why this just got boring real quick. But then one time I tried to put, like, 3:10 to Yuma for him, which,
well, that's a good one.
Dude, he
maybe not for him.
He rejected it after, like, 30. He's like, you put the most boring-ass cowboy. And I'm like, Dad, like, you're constantly watching, like, these, like, really, like, old... Like old
John
cowboy.
Wayne.
You should have put Cowboys and Aliens for him. Like that would have.
or
that's the choice this year. That I guess I'm putting Cowboys versus Aliens in the background.
There you go. That's a good cowboy movie to watch in the background. Man, cowboy movies are good for Thanksgiving too. Like I don't know.
You go.
Okay.
I've never seen Brokeback Mountain. I don't know why, and I don't know when I will.
Dude, I saw it in theaters with two. He invited me to go see. I was like, okay, I'll go, and then I wasn't ready for what it was.
I wish I had seen it when it was like in movie theaters. It was real popular, because then now it's just like one of those things where like Magic Mike. I was like, oh, how do I watch this when I missed it? Like when it first came out.
Unless your wife wants to watch it, it's like why would you just randomly put it on? Like, no, do not let her catch you watching Magic Mike alone.
We should watch it together.
I seen it, but it was one of those things like I struggled for a long time. Like, oh, how do I watch this? If I saw with my wife.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Wife. Sure.
Hey, Channing Tatum, man.
Yep.
No, but I don't know. I mean, have you guys been? We can also talk about what we've been watching. There's stuff constantly being released, man. I'm trying to keep up, but it's so impossible. Is there anything you guys are watching that's new?
Dude, I'm watching a lot.
Your show, Bones and whatever, got canceled on Netflix. FYI.
Shadow and Bones.
Shadow and Bones got canceled.
I told you.
Well,
I told you it was no point on. Yeah, I told you there was no point on watching that. I'm like, nope.
The first season's so good though.
It is, but like I had a feeling, and then I think I watched the first episode of the second season. I fell asleep, and then I'm like, nope, not doing it for me.
It's hard, man.
The second season wasn't as good as the first.
Because what is that Amazon show? The time one,
the Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time. That's good.
The first season was real good. I'm at the
second
point
season's
like
good too.
Well, I'm at the point like Ramon. Like I think like I want to watch a show that I know it's not gonna get canceled after like the second or third season. So I'm all for going back to Wheel of Time after there's been maybe like 2 more seasons, because like I don't want it to get canceled like as I'm watching the second season and I'm trying to remember everything.
Well, they have a lot of money sunk into it, and it's a super popular book. Like
the first season was good.
It's kind of like Dune in terms of popularity for books.
I would say and go as far as saying that it was better than their Lord of the Rings show that they released. Like I would prefer
Ring of Power.
I would tell you to watch Wheel of Time over the Ring of Power.
Yeah. See, for
me, I would venture the same thing.
It's funny because I'm always giving excuses that I don't have time to watch stuff, even though obviously I love watching stuff. But it's like I've told you guys before, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't watch this, but like I'm a huge, me and Kiara, like my wife, we're huge fans of this show, Canadian show called Letterkenny. and it's about like Canadian.
I've heard of it.
It's Canadian hicks that really like assimilate or just really relate to like the
Can,
American
can,
like
can we say that on the podcast? No, I'm kidding.
Canadian country boys that really relate to the American country boys. But it's like we love watching those shows because like one, they're Canadian, but also like the way they talk, the dialect is so different because they're also like country people. But anyways, that's not what I've been watching. So that them producer, creator, main actor of Letterkenny also made an offshoot of that or a spin-off from that show based on a character in Letterkenny, and it's called Shorzy. And Shorzy is like a hockey player, right? And so this is a show about Canadian hockey. We know we were talking about Ted Lasso, and then the one that Ryan Reynolds and dude from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wrexham? Welcome to
Yeah,
Wrexham?
yes, it's that type of show, but like on steroids because it's Canadian and it's hockey. And second season, I believe, of Shorzy came out, and I binged. It was only 6 episodes and only like 23 minutes long. But I could tell you, watch the season and you're like, what did I just watch? And can I go back and watch more of this? Because it's crazy, man. It's about hockey and I guess some girls too, drinking, fights. It's intense. And then it's also really cool because like, you know, you do learn a lot more about the Canadian districts. You know, like they have some players that are from Ontario, Quebec. And so you have all your French speakers and it's wild. But anyways, I love those shows. That's what I've been watching.
Well, there's that animated show that you showed us on Max, and I think the first season has wrapped up completely, and like people are saying like, oh, it landed. Like people are giving it like a perfect.
Oh yeah, I gotta
perfect
finish that.
People are giving it like a perfect 10, so I gotta go back and actually like now I'm like really intrigued in finishing that show because I did like the first episode, and I'm glad that it kind of continued the tone of it.
Dude, talking about shows that we've been watching right now, because I've been like avoiding starting a new anime besides like stuff that's week to week. But I've actually like I'm continuing to watch Doom Patrol.
Oh,
and
okay, yeah,
I'm in the 4th season, and I think that right now is the 5th season, or I don't know, I lost track, but
I got behind that one too.
I fell behind on it. I think I did like 3 seasons, and I need to catch up with some of the newer ones.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad that I kind of took a break from it because I'm liking it more right now that I got back into it.
I mean, it helps that it's only like 10 episodes per season. That makes it a little bit more like, you know, you don't feel like homework, you know?
And it's so different and it's so weird, and that helps kind of keep it fresh.
The one thing that I watched on Max that I don't know if you guys ever watched Venture Brothers, but Venture Brothers, they have a movie that they did, like an animated movie. So they dropped it on HBO Max. So then I watched it because I love Venture Bros. Raul, you really would love Venture Bros. And if you watched it from beginning to where it is, I think it's only like 7 seasons at this point, even though the show itself has been around for 20 years. It's like they kept taking a lot long breaks between seasons. So like, maybe season 6 wrapped up in 2010 and then season whatever didn't come back to like 2015. But the writing and the way they tie everything from the show started to where it gets to like later on, like it's so smart, bro. Like it's such a brilliant show. And if I could give my money to something like for it to continue, like Futurama, like Venture Bros is something that like I never wanted to go away. So right now I don't know if it's ever coming back based on the last season and this movie that they just released. I don't know if they just plan on continue to make movies, but it's a show that I highly recommend if you want to watch it from like beginning to like where it is. I think it's 8 seasons. Venture Brothers, really good show.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Wow, Raul.
That's so
just like you won't watch Shameless, like you won't watch
Rick
and Morty.
It's such a commitment, dude. I can only have like a huge commitment to like 1 or 2 things at a time, and I'm still like trudging along to One Piece. I'm in Big Mama arc. And one day I'll finish.
I heard Rick and Morty kind of ended like one of those big story plots that have been going in the last episode, Ramon. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it.
No, I've been waiting this time around because I know with all the things that happen, I'm like, I didn't want to jump to it and start buying the episodes like right away. That was kind of wait a little bit longer, but I mean, if you're telling me there's something good, I'm gonna watch it.
I feel like they finally wrapped up that story with the Rick that killed Beth. I feel like maybe that's what people were kind of alluding to. I don't know. I really don't know. But somebody said like this last episode like finally wrapped up something that's been going on for like the past couple of seasons. Which to me that's the only thing left, because obviously Evil Morty, it's like it's who knows where.
Yeah. Now that's another great show, Raul, that you won't watch. Probably one of the best freaking animated shows ever.
That one's more likely for me to watch than
you should
Venture
just
Brothers.
put it on.
Yeah. And then I kind of no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say or Solar Opposites, but Rick and Morty over Solar Opposites. So
yeah. No, and then I kind of talked to you guys that I was watching some of the Terrifier 2. Like I started it, didn't finish it, and it's really weird, man. Really weird. If you want to just watch the first 10 minutes, you'll have a complete understanding of what you're probably gonna get yourself into if you continue to watch the movie. But it's just it's really like crazy. Like I could see the appeal for this Art the Clown, and I mean, we're already gonna get a third movie, but yeah, I would also kind of not recommend. But if you get curious as to like what's the deal with this guy, like I would tell you to go check out that Terrifier 2, because it's interesting in a weird, messed up way.
Yeah.
I'm always intrigued, man. I still got my list of horror movies that I didn't finish watching through the Halloween time, even though that's not the only time I watch horror movies. But you know.
Dude, I know. I've been meaning to watch Doctor Sleep forever, which is the sequel to The Shining.
You never seen Doctor Sleep?
No,
dude.
I don't like watching scary movies by myself. And then so now I just gotta convince my sister, like, hey, let's watch a scary movie.
I was about to offer Carlos, be like, Carlos, go join him.
But I can't even think if Doctor Sleep has that like those moments. Like I don't remember if it has.
I know. I still don't want to watch it by myself. I like enjoying certain things with people, and horror or scary or thrillers is one of those things.
Dude, so we were talking about Hush like not too long ago, the movie on Netflix.
Have I seen it?
It's the one where like the girl can't hear and there's a guy like
you have seen it
talking to her. So I guess
it's good.
They took it out of Netflix and it's nowhere to stream, and I didn't even know it was directed by Mike Flanagan. So it's like, of course, now that I know Mike Flanagan directed, and I kind of want to see, like, I guess it's completely like nowhere to be found. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy though. I'm just kind of like bringing up the whole like, dude, buy physical media, man, because like I just bought these a few movies because I'm like, I know nobody's probably gonna ever take away Top Gun or Watchmen, but I still bought them because I'm like, you know what, I want to have these like movies for myself.
Dude, honestly, I think I'm gonna start going to this replay a lot more, just to do that, because like, so right now that we're doing this, like 28 days later, like I'm glad that I own that, because it wasn't like really anywhere on streaming, and we've been talking about like what other movies we want to watch. Like the last two that I mentioned, like they're not on streaming really anywhere. So we either gotta rent it, we gotta buy that, or I think I do own that one. But the other one that I wanted to do for next week, I thought I owned it, but I don't own it. So I either have to rent house.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's this whole idea that somebody could decide that something in Watchmen doesn't make sense anymore, and they're like, well, I created this, and I'm at like, I don't know. It's just like this idea of like studios being able to alter your movie that you think can't be altered because you own it digitally or whatever. It's just like it's crazy to me. Yeah, Ramon, and I don't know because I know you don't follow too much of the news. But did you hear about Coyote versus Acme? What happened with that? It's a movie that.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Did you, Raul, by any chance? So it's like this movie with John Cena that's like a Looney Tunes movie, like the whole live action with cartoon, kind of like Space Jam, sort of like that, or Roger Rabbit. Yeah. So I guess the studio Warner Brothers, they had filmed it, they had tested it. People were like, "This movie's freaking great," and it's already been shot, and it's pretty much like sounds like ready to go to be like dropped, and soon. And I guess the studio was gonna like drop it completely for a tax write-off, like a 30-minute tax write-off. Like they were just
kind of like
Batgirl. And I guess there was a lot of pushback because people were saying like, dude, this movie is great. It's already shot. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's other studios that are interested in purchasing it. Why are you gonna like take away this movie? Like, erase it completely for $30 million. And I guess there was other like big directors that were like, oh well, I no longer want to make a movie with Warner Brothers because what's the point if I make a movie with them and then later they decide they want to tax write it off, like that movie is going to go to the trash can. So I guess they actually they went back on it, and it's actually gonna be shopped around to other studios. So it's a movie that we're gonna get. So I don't know if we're gonna get it on streaming or in movie theater, dude. But if we get it in the movie theater, it's something that we should go and freaking just buy tickets to it to like say Warner Brothers like screw you for not believing in this movie.
Well, even just that crazy, you gotta really make sure you're watching everywhere because like that movie, The Killer that you just recommended and I watched.
Oh yeah, we just
like
saw
that went straight to Netflix. I mean, that was a Netflix like a streaming movie, right? That wasn't theater or anything like that.
No.
And that was a freaking great movie, like so good. And that was, I mean, that I guess it's worth mentioning now. Like guys, like The Killer on Netflix was a great movie with Michael Fassbender, Mr. Magneto. No, it was a movie that I didn't know what I was about to watch. Like I kind of knew it was about a hitman because that's how it starts. But just like the ride that it took me and the mystery of like kind of trying to figure stuff out, like it was a puzzle of just trying to figure out what in the world was truly going on outside of like the obvious. It was really enjoyable, and for being at a pace of like kind of like mysterious, very laid back, like the whole first like few minutes is just him chilling in the same room and just talking and nothing exciting is going on. Dude. And you're like so freaking into it. Like,
dude, so just real quick, I guess it's based on a comic. It's one thing that I learned about it. It's based on a comic from like maybe Europe, France. And then one of the scenes, you know, where supposedly he goes to New York and he's stalking that woman in the restaurant. I think that was shot in St. Charles.
Yeah.
And then the director's David Fincher, which he's done like Fight Club, The Zodiac Killer. So he's like, so The Killers, man, like really great movie. Like it's almost a good thing that you're not having to go to the movie theaters to pay for it because it's available for you like right now on Netflix.
And I also don't even know how it would do in the theaters because it would be like, I think people wouldn't be like, oh wait, what's this movie? And then even if you see a glimpse of the pacing, it's so hard to like get into. Well, and it's not hard to get into it right away, but it's hard to like believe that you're gonna like it.
Well, we didn't talk about it, Ramon, but dude, I bet you that fight scene that happened in that movie, it's way better than anything that like I don't want to throw shit at Miss Marvel. I'm only gonna compare it because it's like at the same time they're coming out. But I bet you that fight scene. No, I haven't seen it. But I'm telling you, like, I bet you that scene in The Killers, that fight scene that we saw, it's better than anything Miss Marvel probably offered as far as like
maybe
fights.
The Marvels.
Yeah,
not Miss Marvel, because I heard that Miss Marvel was good. Yeah, but the Marvels was mediocre.
What I heard was that you should go watch the Marvels and just plan to have fun with it and not take it too seriously.
Yeah.
And that's it. Because like I think with like Quantumania, like Ant-Man Quantumania, like I still enjoyed the movie. Was it a great movie? No. Did it do anything for the MCU? No. But I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the goofy stuff going on. Exactly. And I hear this one's slightly better than that one. But also it was the same thing too. Is like go watch it for what it is and enjoy it and don't make it into this whole giant puzzle piece that needs to fit into MCU and it's gonna like create like waves for the rest of the world. Like no, it's but I want to watch it. I just don't think I want to go pay for it, which sucks to say, but
no, it sucks. And I bet you it's gonna be like that. Like, you know, I still regret when I didn't see Eternals because that's been the only, besides Miss Marvel, Eternals has been the only other Marvel movie that I've never gone to go see in the movie theaters. And then when I saw that, I regretted it because I'm like, oh, like this is actually like one of my favorite like Phase 5 whatever movie that has come out, and I almost wish this Phase 5 had been more about the Eternals than anything else. But yeah, I felt like Miss Marvel's gonna be the same thing. Like I'm gonna watch it at home and be like, why didn't I go see this? Yeah. But that scene in The Killers was really good though. That fight scene, like really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know how Michael Fassbender survived some of those.
You're talking about the Floridian man, right? The Florida man.
Yeah, the Florida.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, Raul, you gotta watch this movie, man.
Loki. Do you want to talk about Loki before we get going, real quick?
Yes, freaking love Loki. I love Loki. But Carlos, go ahead. Why don't you?
No, all I said is like I think if I watch the first season and just right away like continue to the second season, I think I'll get a better like sense of it. But some of the episodes in Loki, like in the middle, specifically lost me. But I did love how it ended. It almost made me feel like, oh, maybe I should go back and rewatch it now that I understand that this is not going to have some kind of generic, like, cliffhanger ending. Like, it truly gave Loki a beautiful ending, and I really appreciated that about it.
No, I mean, I was a huge fan of this season, and I think what it is about it is that this Loki season was dealing with the multiverse, but it was like working within the multiverse, and it had to do a little bit of like how to keep it under control. And so to me, it wasn't a movie like along with all the other MCU movies about the multiverse. It was just like how to control it, how to keep hold of it. But more than that, it was the story of Loki and how he was kind of growing as a person. And I think I still didn't want to believe that's what it was about, even though the name of the show is Loki. Like I was hoping for some crazy things to happen. Yeah, in his glorious purpose, I was kind of not hoping that it was more, but I was thinking it was going to be more. And this season was a little like kind of not confusing, but it was a little like misguiding because you did think more things were going to happen, that you perhaps were going to see some villains. And then when you start finding out that it's not, that it's all like an internal struggle and it's all him learning that he really does care about his friends, that he's going to do everything possible, like spending centuries learning something just to be able to save his friends, like was freaking incredible. Like I think that's the moment when I was just like whoa, like this is like just and they like, you know, it was a freaking glimpse of a moment that they said centuries later, but just even thinking of the idea of having to live centuries of repeated like histories back and forth and all this stuff, like that's some freaking labor of love. And yes, of course, the ending and just seeing that he got his throne, but as opposed to like before when he used to be like selfish and it was all about himself and he, you know, he wanted to just basically say that he was better than Thor and his brother. Like it just ended up being a freaking beautiful thing, man. It was great.
No, I think the first episode was awesome. Like when the first episode I loved a lot.
Oh yeah.
I love the Chicago episode, and I love this final episode because it was like very groundhog to what you were saying. And I like this idea that the one who remains, he kept thinking like, dude, you just wasted so many years because there isn't an answer to this problem. Like I fooled you. Like there isn't an answer. So it's like he completely had to think completely outside the box to like figure it out. So it's like it's funny, man. It's almost like gives you an idea of why he would take the sacrifice. Because, like, dude, I just did this for so much, trying to like solve the problem. Where it was just like I don't know, it was just kind of funny,
dude. And that's funny. There are two great things that it does for you when you think that he's gonna kill Sylvie because he kept on saying like she kept like they kept on mentioning over and over and over. So you just think it's gonna happen. And then also like the moment where he's like snaps and freezes her, and he's like, "What? You don't think I like already got this down?" Like dude, it was just. Yeah, it was good, man. I did really enjoy Loki. It's the fact that it's possibly just over, even better. I hope it is over and they don't do another season. Like that's it.
And by the way, it looks like
the show's over.
It looks like they're also dropping the Kang Dynasty Avengers movie. Like they dropped the movie from schedule. The director's no longer attached. The guy that's supposed to write it is no longer writing it. So I think they're pivoting from that. So that's something.
And they announced that they're reportedly kind of getting ready to announce more Fantastic Four stuff, and
like
so maybe it'll be Dr. Doom.
Yeah, he's not confirmed. Yeah, Pedro Pascal's not confirmed yet for anything. Still kind of
but Miss Sue Storm has been confirmed. Yeah,
Kirby. No, it has it like 100%.
I thought so.
That's where it gets me frustrated. Like people have been constantly saying like trending names.
Yeah. It's hard to differ between the rumors and what's been announced.
Yeah. Like people have an idea, but I don't think anything's been locked, man. If I'm being honest, I sort of like the idea of having Adam Driver as Mr. Fantastic, but I don't know. That was me. Like that's why
Adam Driver in anything. I love the idea.
Yeah.
What is that?
Because he was rumor. Because he was rumor, Ramon, and like I'm like, oh, that could actually be a choice. You know, like I wouldn't mind that.
Was that movie with him and James Bond? Something Logan, Lock Logan. That was a great movie.
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, with Daniel Craig. Yeah,
that was a great movie. Sorry, I just named these people. That's a great movie. Also, like another random one, just because of like how good these actors are, and the movie is such a random topic because it's about like a heist, and it's just so good, and this part of it is just that like.
No, guys. Well, thank you for, I can tell just based on the conversation, you guys really did enjoy the movie, even though you were like, why this one? But it sounded like you guys enjoyed it. So I'm happy. We really did have fun with it. So thank you. I can tell my wife doing this is cheaper than me, better than me. Not cheaper. Like I'd rather do this and go to therapy, and you guys are my therapy.
So yes, cheaper than therapy. That's for sure.
Definitely cheaper than therapy.
My next choice is a war movie. No, I'm kidding.
But there is like a whole thing about Starship Troopers that we didn't know that's actually making fun of the whole aspect of war. Like that's the whole thing about. Okay.
Oh, Raul, I'm glad you picked that.
Honestly, like I kind of wanted to do it for this week because Veterans Day passed recently, but.
All right, well, it's Starship Troopers. That's the next one, so excited for that.
I want to talk about it, Miss Richards. That's just I'll be waiting.
I'm gonna be looking forward to that shower scene.
Yup, that's
All right, I'm gonna talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Peace.